Okay, Internet, this is Jim, What Dugan Thinks. This is my second attempt to film this. First time I had it on a lighter background and the black just wasn't showing up. I put the black on it and it seems to be showing up better. Today we're going to stipple some grips. I've already done this side, so obviously we won't show that again. This is coming off a Beretta target gun that I picked up earlier in the year. It's a Model 87. 22 caliber, and the reason for stippling grips is to give you a better grip, especially in target shooting and also defensive shooting, that it helps you hang on to the gun a little bit better. So I've already done this side. I've seen a lot of people stipple, and I've seen a lot of crappy ones. I've seen a few good ones. I know that the people that have done the patterns that have been successful must be really good at it, because most of the pattern ones I see are crap. So with that said, I try to keep my pattern very abstract, and I don't try to follow any real theory. I just try to make it a mess, and it comes out pretty good. I've done at this point a lot of guns. You should test your plastic first. Smith & Wesson XDs are not really conducive to stippling, and Glocks do really well, XDs do really well, Berettas do really well, a lot of guns do well. First thing to do is test it. Worst case scenario would be that you ruin the grips and you got to go buy another pair. They're not that expensive. So I'm going to go back over what I've already done on this one and explain to you guys one time. So I'm going to try to keep things in focus a little better. Try to do a better job with the light. So what I like to do is the edges first, get them out of the way, and go all the way around. Sometimes I get lazy and I don't make it all the way around and I start doing the field. That's alright too. It's pretty monotonous. I find it therapeutic, and I really don't have an issue with sitting here doing this. I've done a ton of buddies' guns and enjoy doing it, and they're thankful, and that's all good. I like to try to keep the logos on the guns. Some people prefer to take them off. I like to keep them on there. If you do try to remove them, sometimes that works pretty well if they're not really raised like this Beretta medallion is. This would be a major pain. And then I always feel like I can kind of see it in the background of the work. Although you probably can't, and it's just me. But I'm going to continue to go on around and get this all like, I guess in coloring, like get the sides and the corners and all that. I guess like a tattoo artist would do. It's not that difficult a thing to do. I'm using my crappiest soldering iron because my better ones get hotter, and I've been using this one for years now and I just prefer it. I'm hoping you guys can see the angles okay. It's a challenge to do this and be able to see. I haven't shown you, but I'm having to wear these big old spectacles to be able to see, because my eyesight's so bad close up. I'm having to lean way over into the part to see it, so I hope my big old bald head isn't sitting out there just flailing away. I'm not going to sit here and do this whole thing for you. I'm just going to show you the technique here in a second of how I do it, and then I'm going to show you the finished products. This one's not quite done. I tried to go through it and make sure I can't see any of the diamond pattern underneath, and I think I've succeeded to do that on that one. So I'm going to continue to outline some of this. This one's a little different because it's got this little release for the mag release, and I'm having to do a little extra cutting in. It's almost like I'm edging around the lawn here. Then you go back in the field, or painting. That's even a better analogy. You can tell I'm bored. Alright, so I am going to come in here and just start smacking it. Just going to town on it. Not really caring about what direction I'm in or what I'm doing. Just kind of turning it every couple of seconds or so, and just really trying to just get a little bit of preliminary work done that's not so tedious, just kind of driving it home. One of the tricks is do not pick your tip up too far from the part, because if you get it too far from the part, you come back down, you're going to be in the wrong spot sometimes. And it's not easy to fix. Actually, it's almost impossible. So I recommend highly that you don't get too far from the part. And if you can help it, get yourself a pair of these magnifiers. It would really make your situation better. Alright, so as you can see, the diamonds are not covered in completely. So what I'm going to do is start up here in this corner, and I'm going to start really concentrating on going every direction that I can go, and trying to work my way out of here so I don't have to go back in later and try to fill in. It's kind of like just coloring it all in, making sure you get rid of all these little diamonds. And the nice thing too about doing this is the color changes a little bit and gives the grips a little bit of a two-tone look, which is kind of nice too. Down here in Florida, it's important that you have something you can hang on to that's really not going to slip around in your hand. I have a buddy of mine that is missing most of one of his hands, and he's had some trouble hanging on to some of his .40 caliber guns, and I was able to stipple the grips for him, and the gun works so much better for him. He actually outshoots me. I've been shooting with him for about 30 years, and he's really good. If I think a gun's not operating correctly or something's not going right, throw the gun in his direction. It's pretty humbling when he gives it back to you and says that thing's fine, and he's got a group that's quarter inch at 15 yards. So as you can see, this is starting to fill in, hopefully. My first attempt for you guys to see this wasn't good at all. Like I said, I'm trying to get rid of all the diamonds, making sure they all disappear. And it really doesn't take as much time as you think, and it's not as big a deal as you think. I think a lot of people just are afraid to do it, and that's fine too. Find you a buddy that does it. A lot of people do it. I'm more prone to try projects and do them, especially with knowing I can always get another pair of grips. If it's a rare gun, I'm a little bit more hesitant. But if it's something like this that I know for a fact I can get some grips, and you can even buy some grips on eBay or something for $5 or $10 and just get them and practice on it. And this isn't the only thing you can do this on. There's knives you can do it on. There's a lot of tools and different things that are made out of plastic that could really benefit from being stippled. Let me clean my tip again. That's another important thing. This is a tight spot right here. This was not as tight on the other one because it doesn't have the same type cut. And as you see, this is going pretty quickly. Through my editing software, I'm in great hopes of being able to speed this up so you're not looking at it the entire time. I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed. I'm still learning that as well. I feel compelled to get some videos out. I've been really slow on doing that. I did get an email from YouTube, my first one that I can ever remember seeing, but I'm not really good at checking that account. It must be the only one because I activated the email and not a lot came in, but this was one of the things. And it said that I had over 23 hours of viewing this last month on what few videos I got up there. I've only got 17 subscribers as of yet, and I'm not looking to get famous or rich. I just like to get some information out to people. Let me get back over here and see if I can get this where y'all can see it. At any rate, if you could subscribe or if you could like, hit the bell or whatever. That would really be appreciated. I'm going to be covering a lot of different content. Gunsmithing, guns, drones, life, cooking, you name it. It's pretty much what's in my head. And I'm going to try to do better about at least trying to produce one video a week, and that should help. I've also just recently started trying to do a lot more on Instagram and try some of the other medias. I'm going to be 59 here in a few weeks, and grasping all this is something I've been trying to keep up with, and so far so good. Pretty good knowledge. I just got into the little thing there a little bit. And you know, that's going to drive me nuts and nobody else will really notice it. But I will. Sometimes you can take your nail and pull the melt back. And actually, I was able to save that, so it doesn't look too bad at all now. And again, nobody's going to notice it but me, and I'm seeing it like 50% magnified with this thing on my head. The other thing is, keep an eye on your temperature. Your iron's going to get hotter the longer it's on. And you may find that you want to turn it down a little bit just to help it not overheat and melt too much. The likelihood of you going all the way through on this is not very high. I've done it though on a few guns where guys have really sanded down on it to make the grip a lot smaller, and then I've had to go back and patch. The good thing about the plastic is you can basically take plastic and put back in there and fill it in just like you've welded it. I'm going to continue on because I'm almost done with this, and like I said, I'll do my best to speed it up. Actually, I've done all this talking so I don't have an opportunity to speed it up, I guess. I guess what I'll do is I'll shut it off at this point, finish it up for you guys, and then come back and show you how I do the final prep on it. But this looks pretty good. This one's going to be fine as well. And I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm all done with this. Made myself a cold beer. It's hot in here. So the next part is, once you get this all on here, it's pretty aggressive. So what I like to do is just take a credit card. It's not going to mar the finish. It's not going to do anything to it. Some people use sandpaper, and the trouble with the sandpaper is, if you get it on the edges and mar it, then it just looks like crap. Depending upon how much you do this is how less aggressive it's going to be, and that feels really good now. These have got little, you know, prickly things all over it from the plastic, but this feels really good now. So we're going to do the same thing to the other one, and just bust it down, go both directions, and it really makes a huge difference. You'd be surprised. And it's also going to make it look nicer too, because you're going to get all this crap along the edge that doesn't need to be there, that's kind of standing proud, and to get all that as well. So these look pretty good. So this is the way it would look like going back on the gun itself, and this one is the one we need. And I should have maybe done it before and after of that as well, but I didn't. It is what it is. Let's see if I can get it on there. I've got my little cheater things on. There we go. So that gives you a pretty good idea of the way it's going to look, and it feels really good. I think it looks very professional. It's not going to be an issue at all in terms of the functionality of the gun, and that thing is just really nice. Let's see, there we go. See that one? And that's going to feel really good. Actually, it does. So that's a short little project. It doesn't take long, of course the bigger rips do. I really appreciate y'all watching. I'm going to try to get something out more often, And again, if you could like, that'd be great. It's awesome that you guys are viewing as many hours as you are. I got one cooking video out there that I'm amazed I'm almost at 700. That blows my mind. So I know that's not just the grandkids and the family watching it at this point. I don't think they'd watch it quite that many times, but you never know. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. See you next time. Again, this is Jim, What Dugan Thinks. And hope everything out there for you guys go really well and you're blessed. Thank you.